Welcome back to the Tidy Your Hanger. This is Mike, and I'm coming at you with the weekly news and review for April 3rd, 2022. And this week, when it comes to the Transformers news and all news, we kind of got to sift through what is April Fool's and what is not, what is fact and what is fiction. So I'm going to try to make that difference going on right now. But been kind of a fun week, a lot of crazy stuff going on up there. Ramen Toy announcing a slew of projects and also showing kind of the order that they're going to get released. There's going to be some pre-order stuff going on right now, so I'm going to go into that. We have Super 7 doing some more G.I. Joe stuff, but I think I kind of side with the people saying, where is the Ultimates Wave 1? More Neca Haulathon stuff coming up from Target, which seems to be pretty easy to find. And of course, some Star Wars news going on this week, but actually more news that's going to say we're going to have a ton of news next week. There's some more coming up. All right, starting out with what's new at Show Z. And right now, Show Z is getting in chop. It is incoming, so should be shipping out very soon. We're going to start seeing lots of pictures of lots of people with their chop. Same thing with the Deformation Space, and mine is actually been shipped, so I should be getting it here in about a week or two. I'm going to have to take a look at this thing. I am kind of looking forward to it, and it looks to be a little bit better than it did in the pictures, because I did see a review from good old Ben's Collectibles. And Show Z also has this Evolution Toy Space Knight, Tekkaman Blaster, Blade, and Rapier, and it's a set of 2, no price known yet, $1 down. These are 5 inches and 3 inches tall, so if you're in on this, you might want to get in on it. So getting into Masterpiece stuff, if you missed out on the RoboSyn the first go-around for $700, it's showing up for pre-orders at several places, but now it's getting closer to $1,000 for the next run. So it's very impressive, and a lot of people got it, they liked it, but if you're in on this and you want to get in on it, I don't know if it's just going to keep getting more expensive with each production run. I kind of expect them to one day make it smaller, and then one day make it cheaper, but maybe that won't ever happen. So we got updated pictures from Cage Toys. It's the CT04 King Lion Razor Claw Predaking Combiner, and this is updated with more paint apps. You kind of see the paint scheme and how it's going to look. So pretty cool. They updated the pictures this week, and as we progress through this, eventually we'll get the set completely done. So TFC Toys is putting out their Hades and its renewal version. This is going to have upgraded joints and parts that were evidently problematic in the past. So this one is not really Masterpiece scale. It's bigger than Chug, so it's somewhere in the middle there. So kind of the third-party world, and they're reissuing. Here it looks like the areas that have been reinforced or better parts, and how they're going to keep it from having issues that they've had in the past. So redesigned joints, redesigned waist, redesigned versions. So that's good. Like when they put a reissue out of anything, I like companies that like to make things a little bit better and fix them up. Here it is in the alt modes of all this. So if you know about this Hades, then you know about this Hades. So it's back up, going to be coming back up for pre-order very soon. TFC Toys is showing pictures of a Supreme Tactical Commander. So this is bigger and badder. I don't know if the picture's so small or such a low resolution, but it does look pretty cool, pretty interesting. Here it is from the back. You kind of see the wings and how they can spread and splay and all that kind of stuff, and the firepower and the armor on the back. And yeah, it looks pretty good, looks pretty cool. Here is the alt mode, and it's pretty beefy. So kind of fun right there, and TFC Toys doing some work. Transar showed off some pictures here of, or whatsoever. It's very black and white on there. So I was thinking there would be more color scheme to this coming up in the future. But what really struck me about this picture here of the BWM06, that they are going to be having all these die-cast parts in it, and so maybe they've been using die-cast parts all along. I would like to get my hands on one of these. I really need to go ahead and get one of these Transars figures, because I hear a lot of good things about them, and the paint is usually phenomenal and amazing, and really what sets them apart from a lot of these other companies. So I look forward to seeing a finished product of this. Still looks pretty good. The only thing I have from them is their Transmutate, and I really do like it. I think it's a pretty cool figure. It's kind of simple, kind of basic, and it feels pretty solid overall. I do like that thing. So we saw this last week, the Ocular Max IF-01 and IF-01A. It's the Eris and Koltar. This is up for pre-order now, so if you missed out on the first one, then you can get the second one slightly recolored. They both look great to me. So with that, if you're really wanting to get this, or you felt like you missed out before, this is another opportunity to jump on pre-orders right now. And again, here we go with the alt mode. So looking pretty good, pretty exciting, pretty fun. There you go. So there's some in-hand pictures of Crosscut here, and this is the MP53 Plus Takara, and it looks pretty good. I think this mold overall does look pretty good. I hear a lot of good things about this mold. I've yet to pick it up. I do plan to eventually grab one of these, whichever one of the colors looks coolest to me at the end. There's the alt mode, and it does come with a little motorcycle too, but this alt mode does shape up to look pretty nice, and it looks pretty accurate overall. Here's a nice picture of a group shot, and that looks really good. Really nice looking team. Great color schemes going on right there. So we've had some April Fool's tricks this week with some interesting artwork that was created to make it look like there's going to be some sort of a KO of Thomas. And looking around, I can debunk this. I don't see any places that you can order it, put an order in, and obviously people are having a lot of fun on April 1st. I had a lot of fun on April 1st, so I'm not going to lie. So I got official word from Show Z that Blitzway is still delayed at the factory. I actually had to pay for mine in full still already, and no idea when it's going to show up. But I have to tell you, I'm not upset about that. I'd rather get a product that is not flawed or does not have the problems that they've been identified by the early review samples, and I'm okay with getting a good product, especially if you're spending that much money. You don't want it to break, you don't want there to be issues with it, so I do look forward to getting a really solid figure, even if it takes a couple extra months. Okay, so somebody's out there making a custom KO oversize of a Toy World. It's the Toy World FS03 Last Night World War II Bumblebee. I had to look it up to find out exactly what it was that they're KOing, so... But still, it's interesting that they're going through all the trouble to take all of the parts off, scan it in or whatever they're doing, and then 3D print this is what I think they're doing to upscale it. And so you can go through all that work to make one figure. Why not make several figures and sell them? Or why not put the scans in online or share it or something? It just really confuses me when people go through all this work to make one figure. Why not make a bunch more? Or why not share the scans? So DNA Designs are making a DK32 upgrade kit for Slag, and the thing is, you get a Daniel, you get a sword, you get some horns and all that cool kind of stuff. So it is pretty interesting that they're doing this. Now, they of course did one of these similar when we had the Grimlock, and with that you got like a better wheelie, and I do think this is a better version of Daniel that we're going to be getting here. So looking right here, you can kind of see all the little upgrades. You can have the sword, obviously, and it can be holstered a couple places with a 5mm port. And then you can see the upgrade to the horns. You get the red horns and all this kind of stuff. So interesting little details and touches that they're adding to this. But if you're like me and you got this thing on sale, you're probably going to spend more for the upgrade kit than you did for the entire figure. So this is something that's been bouncing around, and we've seen pictures of it, but now we actually, here in a bit, are actually going to see a 3D printed prototype. I believe it's 3D printed, but at least there's a prototype. But it's a KO Legends scale Bruticus. And in the beginning, people were kind of curious, like, what is this? And people were hoping it was going to be an MMC upscaled Bruticus to match the rest of these, like Zeta and all the other companies that are out there making these things. But this is actually scaled down, and I don't know if it's XYZ company. I don't know if it's got the blessing of MMC on it, but there it is right there in prototype form. And I always thought that the MMC one looked pretty good. My biggest hang up was it was a little short, and some people said it had some stability issues, but I really can't speak to that so much. But I can say that they're making it smaller, and I'm curious exactly how small they're going to go, but I think it does look pretty good overall. And so if you're in on this, the pre-orders might be coming up pretty soon. Still no real tactile information. Nothing solid yet. And we've got an update from Rising Force, Stunticons, or Minosaur. Now, here's the weird part about this. The people are saying that they're going to abandon their Masterpiece project. And I think that is exactly what they're going to do. And these do look different. And I was thinking that they were just going to literally make their Masterpiece one smaller, and that seemed like it made sense. But looking at them side by side, on the left is a couple of their Masterpiece figures. On the right are the Legends ones, and you can see they are different designs. There are actually major differences between each one of the designs for the similar same characters, so they're not the exact same thing. They are almost completely different. Maybe they're reusing the heads and they're just shrinking those down a bit, but interesting they're going this route. Maybe they feel like it's a waste of time to do Masterpiece because there's already 3 of them. Well, there's only 2. There's actually only 2 sets available. Let's be clear on that in the Masterpiece realm for Minosaur right now. And the third one might come out in the next year or 2. Here we go in the combine mode, and it looks okay. It's not the best combine mode out there, in my opinion, but I still think it looks okay. I don't think they would have won in the Masterpiece realm either, but if they were one of the cheaper ones on the cheaper side, maybe half the price of the rest of them, and they put these figures out in a timely manner, and it's scaled well, and all that kind of stuff, they could have competed. But is this going to be a cheaper option than, say, a Magic Square one? Then it should win. If not, I don't see it beating Magic Square. And I've been looking at a lot of the pictures of the upcoming version of Deadly, which is Perceptor from Magic Square, and I said it looks shiny. Now they're coming out with one that's got a metallic paint job, and it looks less shiny, in my opinion, than all the promo pictures for the reissue. And just looking, there's a couple of different angles, but it does have some sheen to it, but not the sheen that it had just for the standard looking one. And this is supposed to be metallic paint, and Magic Square just blew me out of the water with their Optimus Prime metallic look paint, and it doesn't look like they're doing it to that level on this. Maybe it'll look better in hand, because sometimes that's what happens, but it just looks flatter than I would expect for a metallic one. It looks like their early attempts at metallic paint and not their current attempts at metallic paint. So I'm curious how this actually turns out, but there it goes. So we got some Legacy Generation Selects DK02 Guard coming out in Canada. So I imagine this thing's going to start arriving everywhere. I haven't really seen tons of pictures flooding from everywhere yet. So if you pre-ordered this, look out for it. Looks pretty cool, pretty interesting. It's a pretty decent mold overall. So we got some pictures of Transformers Authentics Bravo RC, and I want to admit that this RC is not targeting the high-end collector. It's barely targeting the kids at this point, but it looks better than I thought it would have. Actually, I didn't even know they were making this, to be honest, but I think it looks better than I would think that the Authentics or the Evergreen or the ones we see at Family Dollar or Dollar General, whatever, looks. But it's not going to be anywhere on par, even with what Hasbro's doing on the regular mainline. But I'm actually kind of surprised it looks pretty decent, just kind of in the standing there mode. The alt mode looks okay, but it does appear to be very tiny, kind of small for what I would expect. But still, what is it going to be, a $5 or a $10 figure? So interesting that you're hitting that low price point with some decent characters. So there's a listing on Amazon showing a Transformers Legacy Deluxe crankcase figure. So with really no images yet, there it is. This figure transforms into an off-road vehicle in 14 steps. Remove the front grille of the vehicle mode to reveal a large blaster accessory. So anyway, there are links to this thing, and it's been found. So eventually, there's going to be pictures and price, but it's currently unavailable. Real quick, there's pre-orders popping up for these core class figures. In my experience, I haven't had any issues finding any core class figures. Watch these be the ones that are hard to find for whatever reasons. But anyway, if you're collecting the core class figures to try to get all of the full characters in core class scale, then you might want to secure a pre-order or roll the dice at retail. So we have some pictures of the Red Series Robot Enhanced Design Shockwave, and I think it looks really good. This is in-hand pictures, and I always like in-hand pictures a little bit better than the promo shots because they're more real, sort of. But right there, side by side with the Megatron, I do think that looks good. Side by side, that looks great. What really shocks me about this Shockwave, see what I did there, pun intended, is how close in size and scale this is to the previous version that they made with Siege. Now, that's Siege. That's 3 series ago. 3 series ago in Siege. And I felt the Siege one as a leader class at $50 was small for what you're getting. You add on these extra little parts and bits to it. But this thing here at 20, I guess 23 or 25, depending on what day you buy it. It's, in my opinion, a much better value, even though it doesn't transform. That side by side, I'm just kind of shocked how much it looks like it scales correctly. And here he is next to Optimus Prime. So side by side, maybe would like to have seen him side by side with possibly some other Earthrise figures or something like that. That might have been changed my mind about the scale thing there. But I think it might scale well with Earthrise and that kind of stuff. And that's what I felt this line should have done. And here it is in the box. So this box here is kind of proof. Maybe it's not proof, but maybe this thing was legitimately found in the wild. That'll be pretty cool to find that out. So in a live stream with Imgo was actually asked, what are your thoughts on the Blitzwing? And it sort of was kind of gearing him towards, what do you think about stolen figures? Basically, is where it went. And he made a statement, more or less, that he looks at the pictures, but he doesn't support content for anybody reviewing stolen figures, and he doesn't review stolen figures. He's not doing that kind of thing, so he doesn't support that kind of thing. So I thought it was a pretty interesting answer, and he was like real quick with it, like he's put a little bit of thought into it. But I think Imgo does a really great job. You know, one of the best around. I mean, hands down, transformation-wise, just kills it. So Imgo, a lot of props. We got packaging images of Legacy G2 Universal Laser Optimus Prime, and we just talked about G2 on Friday, and I didn't talk about this at all, but still, it looks pretty cool. On the back, there's the back of the box. You can kind of see what's going on with that. And, of course, it's fully enclosed. And this is what you get in the box. So, that's how it's packaged. Kind of cool, kind of interesting. I'm sure we're going to see some water bottles strapped in there. Some people get real mad when they get the water bottle. I saw that last year with the Rodimus. So we got more updates going on for New York Toy Fair 2023, September 30th through October 3rd at the Javits Center in New York. Here's the thing about this. Toy Fair is a big deal. There's a lot more going on than just showing us stuff. Oh, we could see a live stream from Hasbro, or we could just see some pictures and promotion. You actually have a ton of companies, smaller companies, trying to bring their product to market. That's really what Toy Fair is about. I mean, Hasbro is a big part of that. Mattel's a big part of that. The big players are a big part of that. But also, you got to think back, there was a time when Playmates, I mean, we think Playmates is a pretty good company, but Playmates was trying to get their product sold into more stores, and they couldn't, and we sort of lost, or it ended, the Voltron line. They had a lot of great things that were coming from that with a Mega Series. We never saw that come to light, and Toy Fair was one of the ways they were trying to sell it. They couldn't. There's tons of stories, and Toy Fair is really big on helping bring products to market. Without it, it's a lot harder for these smaller companies to do it. Hasbro Pulse is launching in Germany, and I've got to say, I should have translated all this stuff over. I speak a very small amount of German, but I can say that it'll be Das Gross Frustrating. Das Gross Frustration? I'm not going to lie to you, I'm really frustrated with the first iteration. So, I can imagine they're going to be screwing a lot of stuff up in Germany with the Pulse Germany website. So, anyway, getting into TFCon, and there's tickets for sale for the next event that's coming up July 8th through the 10th in 2022. And I want to say that this one here is going to be Toronto in Canada, but I'm kind of curious. So, we're going to be getting another exclusive Seeker Rainmaker from Make Toys, and then we're going to be getting all these other exclusives. So I'm curious what all the exclusives are going to be. And of course, I do actually like the fact that I don't have to try to figure out how to get to Canada to get an exclusive if I want to get in on it, because a lot of the retailers carry them. So that's kind of cool nowadays. That's one cool thing now that we didn't get to experience like 5 years ago. So in other news, we're going to talk about a few other things and then wrap it up with Star Wars. But Ramen Toy has their 2022 product release schedule, and it's showing that the next thing that's coming out is going to be the 80s Commanders version with the 80s. Like kind of a, it's not retro, it's more of a cartoon styled and colored, or even toy styled and colored 3-pack. Then they're going to come out with the Silverhawks Quicksilver, then Monstar, then Antagonist Cyborg is Hacker, Land Drone is Traumatizer, Apache Commander is John Thunder, Great White is Shark, Gloria Baker is Shark, and then Red Gull Wing, of course, is Thunderhawk. We're getting into Mask. So there's the 3-pack of Head and Helmet. If you've already bought the first set like I have, then you need to email them at ramenparts@yahoo.com and let them know that you need to get a set of these or two sets of these. So they're $12.50 plus $7.50 shipping. So basically $20 per set. And yeah, that sounds kind of steep, but it is what it is. And I'm in on two sets. So I've done my email and I look forward to getting this. But you got to do it by the 4th. It is the 3rd. So you got a day. Here's a quick roundup of pictures. This is what the packaging is going to look like. Now, they have had a couple of different iterations of what they thought the packaging setup was going to look like. I believe this is where it's going to stand. This is it. This is the packaging, unless they change it again. So, anyway, I think it looks pretty cool, and I kind of like the saluting hand and all that kind of stuff in there. So, spaced out, looks pretty good. I'm okay with it. I'm in on it. Here is Hacker. This is the prototype of their antagonist Cyborg. Looking pretty good there. Also, they're going to be doing a packaging shot of what their Quicksilver Silverhawk is going to look like, and I think it's going to look amazing. I am in on 2 of those. Here's how big he is compared to the 80s Commanders, so I think that does look really good. So, yeah, side by side, I like that scale. I actually, honestly wish the 80s Commanders were that size too. And then here's Monstar. I think this thing's going to be so good I might just cancel my Super 7. And I'm not going to lie, I think Super 7 might have messed up letting Ramen Toys make theirs first, because they're going to get theirs to market first before Super 7, and it's probably going to look better. I mean, this paint job looks phenomenal. So we've got John Thunder's weapon system. Is going to have mechanisms in it and all this kind of stuff. So there's going to be so much more going on to this than we know. That's kind of cool. The reason they're going to go this far is because they were never released before. So there's no option to go get a vintage one. So you get this and have it work with your vintage figures. You can plug in your vintage Ace from 86 into this weapon system and it'll work. And here is the picture of the Gloria Baker and her shark. And there's been other attempts to make like some sort of third-party model kit of it. But this thing is, in my opinion, I believe, fully functional. Just like a 1980s mask vehicle. And it's showing purple. I'm pretty sure it's going to be white when they're done. I'm not sure why it's purple. And Eyes of the Hawk, Ears of the Wolf. Bravestarr's coming. And this is something they already talked about on live stream. They hinted at this weeks ago in a live stream. So I'm not surprised. I'm just pleased. Bravestarr, looking good. I'm curious how many characters they make in the Bravestarr universe. And will they make the unreleased characters, the figures that never got made? That's what I'm looking forward to the most. Okay, on April 1st, people are thinking that this is a joke. And it turns out to be real. It's real. Super 7's making the G.I. Joe PSA collection for their reaction, and we get Mutt and Junkyard with the I Am a Computer, and so there's that. This is how it looks like out of the packaging, and it's a pretty good excuse to make a Mutt and Junkyard, and this is the only Mutt and Junkyard they make. That's cool. Probably not. They make like 3 iterations of every figure, so $18 though. And here is Roadblock, with a very classic looking Roadblock, which I have to buy it. I can't not buy it. I don't have that self-control. He looks good. I think he does look good. And it's body massage. So, anyway, there goes electricity safety and converter masseur. So anyway, there it is. It looks pretty cool. $18, and it's for real. Target has their haulathon continuing in week 3, and some stuff that should be showing up. I guess I looked out getting a Griff like 2 weeks ago, so that was awesome. But they're doing a good job at Target, making sure that this NECA stuff, this product is available. You can actually get this stuff. So, I mean, maybe you can't get everything on your list, but the vast majority of it, I've seen almost everything at Targets, and so I'm very pleased with that. And getting into this Elvira, this figure here is a figure that I actually didn't know I wanted until I saw it. I was like, man, that's pretty cool looking. I've got a Frankenstein. I think I got another one of the Monster series. Just picking and choosing in the Monster series myself, but still pretty cool. They say there's going to be a signature edition. I don't want to spend $100. I hope it's not $100 for a signature edition. I hope there's a non-signature edition. We've got a couple more gargoyles showing up, and the funny thing is that we've been seeing these. Actually, these have been showing up for almost 2 weeks now, and I haven't seen the girl there on the left, but I've seen this other one on the right. So, kind of interesting, and it also comes with a cape for your first gargoyle. It's not really a cape, it's folded wings. speaking of Hasbro Pulse, getting into some Star Wars news, I noticed Hasbro Pulse had restocked some stuff, and they sent me personally an email. I clicked on the email. I went to Hasbro Pulse, and it was locked for only premium members, and whatever. I found what I needed at retail. I don't need Pulse. But Hasbro is going to be doing a Fan First Wednesday on April 6th, coming up here, well, this upcoming Wednesday, here in a few days. And that's why I kind of think news is kind of light right now. So a lot of people are speculating what they're going to be announcing, which I think that's kind of fun in a way. But at the end of the day, we'll wait, and hopefully it's just not disappointing. I hope that there's some good stuff around the corner. I've just recently picked up like a Bib Fortuna and a couple other things, which kind of makes me feel a little bit better about the collecting hobby of Star Wars. But I'm curious how it's going to look going forward. Is it just going to be really, really heavy with Mandalorian and Boba Fett stuff? Or are we going to get a little bit from everywhere? So you pre-ordered Ahsoka Tano and Grogu, or the Republic Trooper, which that Republic Trooper was going for stupid money before they reissued it. They should be showing up, so if you pre-ordered them, expect them to start showing up pretty soon. Interesting how they're reverting back to... I knew I saw the packaging for the Ahsoka and the Grogu on the left. I've seen it before. That's the Kmart Vintage Collection packaging they used back in the day. Look that up. You'll see. They're just going off the Kmart packaging for some reason. So some places are starting to get all these droids showing up, and looking at the price, I imagine that's not in the US, but anyway. These are cool. I like that they're doing this. I wish that it was easier to get your hands on them, better availability. I got the C-3PO, but I've never seen or had the opportunity to pre-order or buy the R2 and the Fett. So with that, I'm looking forward to getting them if I can find them, if they're in my store. But according to my availability in my store, I'm part of the #NotMe movement. So there is a rumor about a Black Series Princess Leia Organa indoor village, and the reason that I'm even talking about this rumor is because, well, I think it's kind of cool. I'm kind of sick of seeing the same, almost exact same Leia show up over and over and over. This is different, and I'm cool with that. Bring on different versions of her. I mean, keep the similar head sculpts or whatever, but the hair's going to be different. All the other rumors are just like code names, and we're guessing code names, but this here is more solid, so I'm kind of okay with that. This is the Buffalo. We'll see on Wednesday, I think. So it's been a refreshingly light week of news this week. Some areas a little heavier than others, but we're going to see what goes on next week. Maybe there's a lot going on next week, but every week there seems to be something going on in the collecting community. It's a whole lot of fun. What did I miss? What else is out there that I did not talk about? I'd like to know in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Put your finger out.